Greetings, good day to you, and welcome back to another episode of Winemaking 101. There's been a bit of a pause between my 101 winemaking videos because winter has been here and I put winemaking on hold for a while. But I'm back now that spring is here. One question came in the other day, really good question, and that is, how do you clean and sterilise all of your glassware, your Demi Johns and your wine bottles? Very good point. Over the winter, I've left out one of my Demi Johns open to the elements with a bit of lees in the bottom. Now this wine was a Vindaloo wine, probably one of the worst wines I've made. Great for experimentation, but not so great on the taste buds anyway. It's been unbunged, open to the elements all winter in my shipping container, and it's gone rather manky, this Demi John has. So here is the offending fella, the Vindaloo wine dregs left in my Demi John. It has a lovely layer of blue mould on top of this spongy substance, on top of liquid, on top of dregs, and it's a cross between Vindaloo and blue cheese, like a pannier, but only with Stilton and Vindaloo, and not something that I am looking forward to having to clean out. Partly I left this in this state because I wanted to see how bad I could get it. I had no other wines around the wine, but I didn't want this to spoil other wines. Sometimes if you go to a car boot sale or a charity shop or reply to an advert in a free listing somewhere, you might find the Demi Johns being really, really manky. So how do you clean them? Well, here's how I do it, and it's really simple but effective. First thing you want to do is grab your offending fella and pour out all of the dregs, or if there's no liquid left, bypass this step. Once you've drained out your liquid, I'm sure I have mother of vinegar in there now as well, but I'm not going to use it. It's cheesy, it is vinegary, it is Vindaloo-y, all those bad things that is rather awesome. Once it's cleaned out and empty, then I add a few mils of bleach, making sure it's the thin bleach and the unscented type. You don't want your next wine to be floral unless you make it floral. You don't want it to be bleachy floral, like a toilet cleaner. Not very good. So just use thin, unscented bleach. A few drops, hot water, fill the Demi John, and leave it stand overnight. That way, the bleach will get to work and remove all the crud, all that sediment. And this really, really works. And I hear some of you cry out, you can't use bleach. You have to use a proper wine sanitizer, such as VWP. Now, I don't know why. If you know why you can't use bleach and you have to use a proper homebrew shop sold VWP type of powder, let me know. The active ingredient in your VWP type cleaning product and also bleach, chlorine, and the cleansing agent, hydroxide, ingredients are pretty similar. Not much difference, only this one, sold by homebrew shops, 10 times the price of standard bleach. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but doesn't it make sense that these homebrew shops, which don't have large profit margins on the things they sell, but try and flog you something from their shop that's quite pricey compared to something you can go and pick up in the standard supermarket? So, conspiracy theory? Maybe. I'm not paranoid. But one of the main reasons I like making homebrew is because it's really cost effective. So the benefits of bleach to me do the same thing as homebrew sold cleaner, sanitizer, sterilizer, but it's a fraction of the cost. You can buy it in bulk and also use it to clean your floors and your toilet and whatever else you want to use bleach for. So once your Demi John or your wine bottles have been stood in your bleach solution, overnight preferably, or a good 12 hours if you do it over the daytime, give it a pour out, and then get your handy bottle brush inside your Demi John or wine bottle and give it a good pump up and down. Get it going, inside, outside, work it really, really well. Get into all those nooks and crannies, give it a good investigation, give it a good play around it inside, really deep. And that should remove any of the remaining clingy, hangy, onny, sediment, debris, crud, smeg around the demijohn or wine bottle. Rinse it out under warm water. You don't need hot water ideally, because demijohns and wine bottles do have a habit of cracking with the heat variation. So I always use near boiling, warm, very hot water, but not quite boiling. Give it another rinse out, let it stand again with a bit of bleach for a few more hours. Then it's going to be ready for you to use. All you need to do is give it a good rinse out. Pour out that solution and give it a rinse with warm water, a couple of rinses, because you do not want to have any of that chlorine in the demijohn, because that will inhibit your yeast from working. If you want to give it some time before you use your demijohn or wine bottle, what you want to do is drain out all of the liquid and put a bung in your demijohn or a cork or screw cap on your wine bottle, set them aside and they'll be ready. Then give them another quick blitz around with a bit of bleach solution and then another really good rinse out, and hey ho, they're ready to go. Main thing with using bleach is to remove it before use. Get rid of all that chlorine, because you don't want it messing up with your yeast. There's no point making wine if your yeast can't do its job and turn sugar into alcohol. You may as well just have fruit juice, and what's the point in that? If you have a really, really smeggy stain on your glassware that just won't come off, no matter how much brushing you give it, what I sometimes do is add some sand to the demijohn. And the sand is very abrasive, and give that a stir around with your brush around the demijohn. So there's your sand in there. Use sand from the builder's merchant or the children's play shop thing that sells sand for play pits, or your local beach. Because it's very abrasive, that will help remove the staining. And give that sand a really good stir around with your brush, and that should really help to remove the stubborn stains. So what do you use to clean your demijohns? Are you a fan of homebrew shop sold specialist cleaning products, or are you like me, a bit of the cheapskate and go down the whole bleach and elbow grease route? Because there's two types of cleaning. There is the superficial, things you can see with your eye, those stubborn stains, and then there's the sterilisation. And the sterilisation route is the thing that can really make your wine go bad. And if you want to see some horror stories about really bad wine, check out this video by here, and you have fun now. See you all soon.